welcome back to the Helix. Today on the Helix, we'll be opening a box, and we'll also be talking about a lot of cards. So, this is going to be my official set review of Born of the Gods. We might not get through all of them, because, of course, we can't with a box, but, you know what, we're going to go through a majority of them, and here we go. So, we got our booklet here, then we got 3 packs of 12 right here. So, let's get that out of the way real quick. And so, I'm going to go with my friend Mogus first. And we've got our cool promo, buy a box. This card's pretty good. I like it a lot. A lot of people say this is really good for killing planeswalkers. And, you know, it is. But I really like it. It's just the instant speed, like the scry is just attached there. But when you need to kill something fast and you've got a lot of mana available to you, like these American control decks, this could be really useful. So I like it a lot, but it's kind of narrow. So for our first pack, let's get to it. So I'm a real big fan of a couple of commons and uncommons too, like for draft. So let's go through it first. Griffin, this is a really good card for draft. So we got Griffin, we got Eidolon, really aggressive black card. Badger, kind of weak. Giant, this is a really good red card. Disciple's a bit slow, but the card draw can be good. Guide, a good 2/2 bear. This is one of the most beautiful arts for divination. Another sire, enchantment sire, but you know, can trigger off heroic real easy. Another card that can trigger off heroic real easy is this card, along with this guy, but this can also be used to make sure that guys on the ground can't block. So it's got a couple good uses. Now for the uncommons, we've got this guy, which it's tribute. I don't know if you can see him or not. Sorry for the glare. But anyway, his tribute, make him into a 5/5 flyer or make him into 3 bodies. So it's pretty good. And then Sight, this is a really good card for just getting enormous advantage off your guys, especially if Inspire, like it's one of the best draw spells in the format. And then Rage, this is another great kill spell, especially for sealed, but for draft it's going to be fine too. Draft's a bit fast, but it seems like this format takes a long time to kill, but it makes some huge monsters, so this can get out of range too very fast as well. And then we've got the Sphinx, and the Sphinx is really good for draft, but as far as standard goes, I don't see it touching, and that's our rare. And then we've got a mountain and our zombie token. Next pack. Sorry if you can't see everything that we've opened. There we go. Giant. This is a really good black devotion card for those those blue-black devotion decks. Then just another good body. 3 mana for a 3/1. And then the Bowstow's not bad either. This is a really good Punisher. 5 mana for a 4/4. But its ability is that whenever it attacks, you get to bounce an enchantment. And so that you can get some really big pluses off of this. And then just another combat trick for red. +2/+0 and first strike. Griffin, cycle your enchantments again. A great removal spell for the format. Basically kills anything that's untapped. It's sorcery speed, so it's going to kill something the turn it comes into play. And as long as it doesn't have vigilance, you know, you're not going to be able to hit it after that. But it can really hit some good bombs. So it's definitely a great card for black. And then we got our little flyer here for white, which white actually is getting a lot of nice flyers. So that blue-white flyer deck is looking really menacing. And then this guy, the Trojan Killer, 2/1, 1 red, sacrifice it, kill an artifact. That's really great, but unfortunately you don't have enough artifacts to really make this see anywhere excluding a 2 mana 2/1. And then another one of my favorite cards, another tribute card actually. You can either make it a 7/7 for 5 or a 4/4 for and gain 4 life, which is actually pretty good. You know, it's usually going to be a 4/4 for 5, but for the most part, this is going to be one of the better draft green guys, and it's going to be a great monster. Nullify, or enchantment. You know, it's a little narrower with the 2 blue, but you know, it might be worth that in later formats where just auras are a big problem. But it basically counters any creature in the format, which is really nice, even if it's bestowed, so it's really good. Then another really great card for the format is this guy. He gets first strike, and one of the great things about this format, it's the amount of the combat tricks, and first strike can just lead to some really big bust, and just puts a lot of pressure on your opponent already, and it's really great as far as common goes. It might even see some standard play. Speaking of maybe some standard play, we got our flyer killer for the format. If we get enough green devotion decks out there, and our guys don't die fast enough, then this is going to be really punishing to like the mono black decks that just push out their meaty flyers. But for the most part, I think this is going to live in sideboards of limited. But again, really great way to tackle those blue or white decks that have a lot of flyers. And then we got this guy. It's one of the best combat tricks in the format. It needs yield devotion, but redirecting damage is really powerful, and it's no less with this format. Now we got our Kraken here, and he's a beautiful design. Not going to see any big play. 7 mana is even high for limited, but in sealed, he's going to be a bomb. And hexproof isn't bad as ability either, especially dodging our, I don't even know what's the name. Asphyxiate. It dodges that too, so good card. And then no token. Next pack. We're not going through this very fast. Sorry, guys. I'm going to pick up the pace. So we got negation of life gain, damage, another giant, wolf. This is another great combat trick for blue. Blue doesn't have a lot of combat tricks compared to the other colors, but usually it's really punishing when they do, and this is no less. And you can get just surprise out of your opponent, which a lot of the spells in this format like this have to deal with damage, or this, but I feel like this, the untapping of a blocker is really important. It lets you be aggressive and kind of just like go over the opponent when they think that you want to race. So this guy, again, not enough artifacts. Now this card's good. Again, I'm a really appreciator of all these enchantments that draw you card. Now I think all these have value, but anything that gives you any more value over that, I think is really important. Another monster. Okay, this guy's heroic ability is fantastic. Tapping down a creature, even for 3 mana for a 3/1, that's still great, and I feel like the 3/1's really well positioned in this format. Like, again, it doesn't get over the big monsters, but, as far as draft goes, and then uncommons here are pretty stationary. This guy, like, he's got the ability twice where you can get back your enchantment creatures. He's pretty great. Value's sake. Speaking of enchantment creature, this guy doing 2 damage whenever he battles, is pretty fantastic for draft as well. Might even get to some aggressive black decks in standard. Speaking of aggressive decks in standard, this guy is going to be Fanatic, is fantastic. And he's going to be showing up, and he's going to get a lot of love from Domri Raid. And then our Commanders players, we've got this 5 mana wacky artifact legendary, and it deals with a lot of legendary stuff. And I'm sure that there's going to be a deck that really enjoys this in Commander. And then no tokens or anything. And then we got this guy, again, more combat tricks. Enchantments are always good because of that heroic trigger, though. This guy is one of the better inspired, though. And I think that any of these really slow inspired guys are going to be showing up really easily, rather than the quick ones, because they're not going to survive very long. But a 1/3 for 3, not the best stats, but, can trade some real life gain. And I think that life gain abilities and non-combat damage abilities are really great in this format. And then another satire, this one actually I really like, because not only does it's a one-off mulch, but it also is a 1/1, which means that it's going to be doing a yield blocking, chummy, but still. And I think this is going to be a really good card for a lot of the decks that might be wanting to be in the graveyard. And I think that we almost have enough cards for the graveyard deck. And I don't know, I kind of want to see this in Tron in the Modern, so, because I like blocking. Another giant. This card is one of the best designs of the format, I feel like. I just love these cards that give a creature tap abilities. Like, this sets off so many triggers, like with the Inspire and Heroic. And it's one of the best cards in the format. So, I really like it as far as combat tricks go. Nullify again. Wing Glider. This guy's really cool. Haste and Flying is pretty cool. Again, I like the word cool. And, he just build a bear, make him into a flyer juggernaut. This guy just random green cards. Now, giving Death Touch is really important in this format, and Regenerate isn't that bad either. So, this card's pretty good. Minotaur, another really just staple red card. And a lot of these mono red draft decks are pretty fun to watch too. And I think this is one of the great cards in that. Speaking of that, this enchantment is one of the cards you definitely want for that deck, as you can just get so much plus off it. Then we've got another great card for the format. And as far as sealed goes and draft, just give everything heroic. This is kind of a random one for white, but you know, if you can get the life gain, then it's gonna make a beefy guy. And then we got this monster, which is either gonna be a 12/12 that dies, or you're gonna get to fight something that's small. So it's kind of interesting. But if they don't have an answer, then you're just gonna hit for 6 every turn, which is nice. Giant. Okay, I really like these guys. Now this is a 3/2 for 4. A little slow. The scry is nice though, and again it just adds to that flyer base. Even though the white ones are a bit more aggressive than the blue, I feel like the blue is really important as well. Speaking of aggressive, 1 mana lifelink and +1/+1 is one of the best tricks I've seen so far as the set goes. And I used it in the pre-release a lot, and it got me out of a lot of situations that let me race the opponents really fast, along with the flyers. And this guy, just another combat trick. Nullify, Glider, again, Death Touch and Lifelink, kill spell basically. And then we got this, which is one of the better removal spells as far as enchantments and artifacts go. And a lot of people don't regard this as such, but this is one of the best removal spells in the format. Again, touch and sealed again. Then we got this guy, you know, he's heroic. Opponent discards a card, which is nice for a 1/3. You get blocking in the early game. Then this is, a lot of people like this as far as a removal spell. And for 1 mana, a 0/1 that whenever it gets in the battle, kind of Neospatian Grand Moles, if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh, bounces. You know, this is a very strong ability, and I hope that a lot of people, someone can figure out how to abuse it, and maybe we see it in the standard. And there's a rare, a blowout card and sealed in any limited format. The card lets you draw like crazy if your opponent doesn't deal with it that minute. And for standard, I don't see it going anywhere because there's a lot of removal now. So yeah.